physical store namin, and you can also buy from our site www.hwsugar.ph na 100% palaging up-to-date yung inventory dun. Kung in-stock yung item sa amin, available yun sa site. We also ship nationwide. Thanks for watching, and maybe one of these days, magkita tayo sa shop. Paminsan, may nagtatanong kung may kilala ba kaming computer shop na trusted, yung hindi ka lolokohin. Actually, meron. Kami. Full-service PC store ang Hardware Sugar. Nagbabenta kami ng PC components. Nagbabenta rin kami ng fully assembled rigs. We clean computers. Kasama na rin yung excellent cable management namin and CPU cooler repasting sa cleaning. We also clean and repaste GPUs. Nasa Makati yung physical store namin, and you can also buy from our site www.hwsugar.ph na 100% palaging up-to-date yung inventory dun. Kung in-stock yung item sa amin, available yun sa site. We also ship nationwide. Thanks for watching, and maybe one of these days, magkita tayo sa shop. Paminsan, may nagtatanong kung may kilala ba kaming computer shop na trusted, yung hindi ka lolokohin. Actually, meron. Kami. Full-service PC store ang Hardware Sugar. Nagbabenta kami ng PC components. Nagbabenta rin kami ng fully assembled rigs. We clean computers. Kasama na rin yung excellent cable management namin and CPU cooler repasting sa cleaning. We also clean and repaste GPUs. Nasa Makati yung physical store namin, and you can also buy from our site www.hwsugar.ph na 100% palaging up-to-date yung inventory dun. Kung in-stock yung item sa amin, available yun sa site. We also ship nationwide. Alright, what's up internet? What's up Liam Nagnaye? I like that. Let's insane how my micro-size portfolio went from a 30% loss to a 30% gain in the span of a week. The last 2 weeks, actually, well, when was the US election? November 5 ba yun? The last 2 weeks, or basically, starting with the election, things have been crazy. I mean, grabe talaga yung wild yung everything. I mean, the bull has arrived, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's crazy what we're experiencing now. So let me just play the ad before I forget, and then I'll be right back with you guys just to sort of give you an update where we are now with crypto markets. This is an episode that we do once a month, but I'll do the intro after the ad break.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder. Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nagsisigi ka na para sa Windows mo. Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sad and depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com. Yes, so it has been a wild... What's up, Mary Carl? Good evening. It has been a wild stretch for crypto. So every time I do this episode, I post the latest... Oh, man. I have lost the camera because... Parang nag-flip siya. Okay, hang on. Like literally, just when I was getting the ball rolling, I lost the camera feed. I don't know why. The camera is still okay pa naman. Wait, hang on I will... So I'm still streaming. I'm still online. It's just that the camera flipped. It flipped for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. Reinitialize the camera. Hang on. Hooray! At least that was an easy fix. It wouldn't be a hardware sugar stream if something doesn't go on. I'm like, literally, I'm just, starting to build up and everything. So if you look at the text description below for this for this live stream that we do it once a month where we talk about the crypto market. Every live stream that I do, every crypto watch that I do, I put the price of Bitcoin at the time of the episode, and then I don't delete the old one. So there's basically a history of the price of Bitcoin every time that we aired an episode. Last month, the price of Bitcoin was at around 68,000. Now we're sitting at around 91,000 or 90. I put 90,600 because that's what it was. But apparently now it's around 91,100. So that is 20 plus K in the span of a month. And that all started with the US election. So a lot of people, more cautious, more advanced, experienced traders were like, you don't want to trade during the US election because sobrang volatile the markets noon. Regardless of who wins, whether it's Trump or Harris, it's like there'll be a crazy, there's a lot of volatility, there's a lot of uncertainty. You kind of just want to sit that one out. You kind of want to wait it out. But as it became clearer that Trump was going to win, grabe. So like crypto started shooting up. And I'm going to be completely honest, I was not involved in that. I've been burned too many times by these events na, it's supposed to like, mag-go wild yung market and biglang magka-crash. So I sat out most of the jump from 68K to around 90K or so because initially during the elections, I was like, okay, think patient, think calm, don't jump into the markets. I mean, regardless of yung tingin ko naman dun, parang regardless of my personal political affiliation, I'm not an American, I don't get to vote, but who the US president will be will have long-term effects on everybody on the planet just because of the outsized influence of that country, from climate change to trade negotiations to, of course, arms deals and arms support to Israel and to Ukraine. I mean, the US is everywhere. They have their hands in everything. Like it or not, they're the most influential country right now. And if you care about world events, even if you care about markets, even if you care about your bottom line, you kind of need to follow US news. And of course, if you follow it, then you also have a personal opinion on who you would like to sit or who you would have liked to win the presidency. That said, I didn't think it would matter from a crypto perspective. Kahit manalo si Harris, a lot of crypto bros, crypto people like Trump because he is anti-regulation. He has his own crypto, or he's about to launch his own NFTs or something like that. Sub G3. So, it was like if you're into crypto, you kind of automatically favor Trump because you think it would help propel the markets. I didn't necessarily think that a Harris win would ultimately be bad for crypto markets. We're at that time of the cycle na regardless naman sino man nanalo, feeling ko tataas naman yan, the usual parabolic things at the end of the 4-year cycle. But when it became clear, it wasn't even officially announced yet, but as the state started giving or started, it was becoming clear who was winning which states, and it looked more and more likely that Trump would win. A crazy rally. Like the Bitcoin and everything else shot up. And that's the important thing also. This is the first time in a long time that altcoins have had any kind of traction in the market. So the last time altcoins were this hot was around the halving. So the halving, right before the halving. Sorry, no, I don't know. Sorry. The halving. Sorry. Not the halving. If I remember correctly, it was around March, right around the time of the Bitcoin ETFs. So when the Bitcoin ETFs were finally approved by the US SEC, so Bitcoin shot up over about a month or so, and altcoins are really hot. But then since then, dissipate yung interest in altcoins. Although we had the memes, we had the meme coins, we had the AI coins, we had the Web3 coins. So there was a lot of interest maybe early part of this year for altcoins, but that really dissipated. And then when Bitcoin hit around 53K, grabe yung prices ng mga altcoins. Like you could have gotten them think Ripple, which I will talk more about later, but you could have gotten Ripple for around 40 cents maybe. Did it hit 35 cents or so? But something crazy like that. Right now it's at it's over $1 right now, Ripple is. So it's the first time that Bitcoin heats up really dramatically. Sorry, not the first time, but for the first time in a couple of months, in a long time. 6 months is a long time in the crypto space. That the altcoins have really, really like started ripping. I mean, like XRP didn't even rip that much, but we're seeing Ripple jump from around 54 cents to around $1.16 now. So that's more than 100% increase in the span of 2 weeks. ADA, Cardano, also some bonkers thing like that. We had Doge, although Doge has kind of leveled off back to around 37 cents. Sorry, I can pull this up for you guys. Which cryptos do you currently hold? I will share that in a little bit. But yeah, so let me just do this one so it's easier to see. So we're with Bitcoin now. I think Bitcoin... Oh, actually, we're seeing a drop. Maybe I want to get off the stream and then... Sharp drop. Oh, actually, I want to bid ETH here around 308, 3080, 3070, 3050. I'd like to bid some ETH. So this is what I'm talking about. Doge here is at around 37 cents. But just a week ago, it was at something bonkers, like 43 or so. Lowest was at around 34. Ripple just ripped, man. XRP. And Ripple is one of those super long-term holds that people talk about a lot. So, you know, around... No, tumas na yan eh. Mga 53, yeah. So, this is what you're seeing here. 53 is sort of like where it was the average for October. And for a long time, it's around thereabouts. I remember it being around 48 cents. It ripped all the way up to $1.15. Now it's at $1.14 or so. So that, you know, less than 100%. More than 100% increase in the span of 2 weeks. Ripple is one of those coins where it's been in accumulation for the longest time, for the past 7 years. So basically, accumulation is a technical term that the guys on crypto Twitter like throwing around, where people are, you know, holding their coins and slowly, it's like hoarding. People hoard their coins, and at a certain point, the hoarding becomes enough that it becomes scarce on the market, and then suddenly the value goes up because basic economics, supply and demand, scarcity. The more scarce something is, generally, the more valuable it is. So this accumulation period, I don't know, it can last for a long time. For Ripple, it lasted 7 years. So it didn't really rip that much in the previous 4-year cycle. So basically for crypto, people subscribe to the notion that there's a 4-year cycle. In every 4 years, magpipeak yan, and then babagsak ulit siya. And then the 4-year cycle restarts, and then we have another peak at the end of 4 years. But yeah, if you're talking about like a 7-year accumulation period, basically Ripple didn't see a lot of gains. So it's been in accumulation for a long time. So a lot of people that I follow on crypto Twitter are saying that now is the time. Like, now is the time where we're going to see like ridiculous gains. Like, an analyst that I respect that seems to know what he's doing. Sup, Hans? I know, right? Ripple. It was 50. I've seen it go below, but yun nga, parang the accumulation period supposedly was around 7 years. This analyst that I really respect on crypto Twitter, although he doesn't get everything right, nobody seems to get everything right, and that's kind of something that the mindset that you should have as a trader. Like, you're never gonna get 100% right, but you know, if you have 70% win rate, that's very decent already. It's very hard to trade short term, which is something that I really had to try to break in my own system. You know, short-term trades, you see the market pump, like you see Bitcoin is around 85, and then tomorrow it's like 87, and you're like, if I had longed one Bitcoin there, I could be $2,000 richer. But it's really like a crapshoot. You never know talaga on short time frames. It's really difficult to determine which way the market will blow. And you think it's like 50-50, right? I mean, leche naman. I'm going to bet if it goes up, or I'm going to bet it's going to go down. But it's very hard to be profitable in short-term trades. That's really something that I've had to try to consciously enact in my trading strategy, is that when I do futures, which are super volatile, pag may profit na, benta ka agad, lipat sa spot. And then the spot, spot, you buy it at a bad price, okay lang yan. We're in a bull market, aakit naman yan, mag-recover yan. But if you buy at a bad price in futures, like you long something and then it drops, and then, it's a multiplier effect. You can't afford to actually hold all of those coins. That's why you use futures. You use collateral, you use leverage, and then suddenly babagsak siya, and then it's like your losses can multiply super fast. I've been on the receiving end of that. It is not pretty. It's a gut punch when you wake up and like, pucha, bakit puro pula to, and bakit negative $1,000, negative $500, and those are like for like the small bets lang, right? I mean, in a bull, I do have a specific target in mind that I want for this bull market. And, sometimes I'm a little bit too aggressive. But, yeah, there we are. Sup, Osir? The Ripple was really positioned initially as a way, as Hans mentioned, to facilitate money transfers. So right now, or hindi naman right now, actually, we've kind of moved already into crypto being used for that. Before, it's like, I'm an OFW, I earn in euro, for example. Paano ko ipapadala yun sa Pilipinas? Money transfer, Western Union, wire transfer, maybe PayPal. So the promise of crypto initially, and like Ripple was one of those that was aiming to get into that, was to facilitate money transfers, cross-border money transactions. But to be honest now, the stable coins like Tether and Coin, USDSC, stable coin, Circle Coin, they're really, like, I've only started using them this cycle. They are really super easy to use. Plus, they're really pegged to the dollar. So you don't worry about, like, my problem with using crypto as a means to send money abroad, sobrang pabago-bago yung price eh. Aakit si Ripple, babagsak si Ripple. Aakit si Bitcoin, babagsak si Bitcoin. You don't actually want to use Bitcoin for money transfers because the cost, the Bitcoin cost, every transfer may cut yung system eh. You don't want to be spending your Bitcoin just to transfer. Ripple actually is pretty good kasi Ripple has a very small, maliit lang yung amount na kaltas, the fee that you use to send money. Ethereum is kind of pricey, the gas fees to send Ethereum. So there's some coins that are better for just transferring if that's your goal. Ripple was one of them. But with the stable coins now being really stable for money transfers, I don't transfer money. I mean, to someone abroad. What I do is, like, money that I earn in the Philippines, I convert it into USDT. Then I send it to my foreign exchanges like Kraken. That's where I either buy a lot of spot or I use it for futures collateral and things like that. But yeah, to send money via Tether and USDSC, it's been kind of like a game changer. It's really like surprising. I hear you, man. I hear you. You think you have all of the numbers figured out and you think that hindi to babagsak to this level. And it starts going down and you're like, oh, it's fine. I have money. I have reserves. I have money. I can take the shock. And it keeps going down. And like, holy Jesus, man. Believe me. I've been there. That's why it's so difficult. That's why this bull market, that's why the start of the parabolic bull market, which we are basically in. One of the analysts that I respect a lot on Twitter, he's still not sure, but basically everybody else has capitulated. The election was really the catalyst. People just started jumping in, and this is the last part of the 4-year cycle. This is the part where Bitcoin goes parabolic. Parabolic meaning like, yun nga, biglang 68K siya, 2 weeks later, 91K siya. I mean, that is insane. That is an insane jump in that span of time. And we are just at the start of that. What's nice about this is that generally, you don't see a lot of pullbacks. Sobrang madugo talaga yung mga pullbacks. Like, if you started trading around the halving or around the Bitcoin ETF approval. So that's around March, April. Between those 6 months, between March and now, it has been crazy. It has been like, magpiping pong siya to 70, 72. Babagsak siya to 52. And then you're stuck in this range. And then yun nga, hindi mo alam kung saan ka puposisyon. Kung magposisyon ka, biglang babagsak siya. Wala, lugi ka na naman. Liquidated ka na naman. Bagsak na naman yung presyo. So it has been a road. It has been very stressful getting here. That's why this last part of the cycle is the most important. Kasi the chances of failure are reduced. It's not even like, a lot of people get emotional na anak ng pucha, na eliminate, na liquidate ako. I tossed all my life savings in. Please, first of all, please do not throw your life savings in. But, if like 95% of what I'm talking about seems gobbledygook to you, there are links in the video description below. I made 3 recent videos about crypto. Basics for beginners, how to start trading, who to follow on crypto Twitter, and things like that. So those videos might be instructive. But definitely, if you're just starting, please don't bet the bank. Just put in a little bit. But that's why this last part is so crucial, because it's not up only. To be clear, it's not up only. Pero biglang aakit siya na sobra. And the pullbacks are relatively minor, except. And there's another guy that I follow a lot. He's super into TA, technical analysis. So he's really looked at the charts of the previous 4-year runs and things like that. According his theory, his way of breaking down this last part of the parabolic cycle is that we have the first phase, so 6 weeks or so, starting around last week. So basically up to the end of the year, basically up only siya. We don't see a lot of pullbacks. And then we have the first major pullback. Apparently, according to him, there are at least 2 major pullbacks in this last kind of parabolic portion of the 4-year run. So 6 weeks, around roughly up to end of the year, up only, very minor pullbacks. And then we're gonna hit a rough patch. So we're gonna see like 20% drop or so. Again, these are very rough estimates based on the previous cycles, but 20-30% normal lang yan. So if you think about it, if we reach 100,000, which we probably will even before December. I mean, I think there's an outside chance we're gonna hit 100. We might not sustain 100, but I think we might hit it for Bitcoin by end of this month maybe. But assuming very conservative, by the end of the year we're at around 100. And then you're talking about like a 20 to 30. You're like 20-30%. That's not too bad. But if you think about it, we're at 100, and then we see a 20% drop. That is brutal. We'll be back to around 80,000. Plus, if you're kind of new to crypto trading, you're thinking up only lang to talaga all the way, 100 to the moon, 90,000 to the moon. You're gonna be longing at the local high. Local high meaning like yung short-term time frame. 100 na pala yung peak niya. But you're like, oh, I keep hearing about this 4-year cycle, and I keep hearing na up only siya, easy mode, etc. It's easy money. I'm gonna start leveraging and things like that. And then, it drops 100 and it drops down to 80. That's a $20,000 loss for one Bitcoin that you longed. That's like $1 million plus pesos in losses if you can't afford to meet if you don't have enough collateral to support the long that you did. So it is very important to not get carried away. That being said, supposedly within the 6 weeks, it's going to be very strong with minor pullbacks. Nothing too crazy. So 6 weeks, roughly up only. And then I don't know, I forget the first pullback, how long it's supposed to take, but there will be a drastic pullback, and then balik tayo sa up only, and then the second pullback is less likely than the first, meaning that it could be a pullback that signifies the end of the bull market. But on the average, there's a second pullback, and then aakit ulit yung Bitcoin. And then that's really kind of like the peak Bitcoin na because occasionally there is a third fall off, a third kind of pullback. But that one daw, very risky na if you start buying back in again because the odds are high na yun, nag-peak na yung cycle, magpupull back na talaga siya. But when Bitcoin peaks, that's when the real altcoin season starts. So I'm sorry to congratulations. I hope you get it from us. Don't forget Hardware Sugar. We are a PC shop. We just don't talk about crazy things like crypto and 4-year cycles and things like that. Roughly, and again, yun nga, I'm not by any means, I'm not the best trader. I'm not a guy who looks at the charts all the time. I think, you know what, my skill is like I can accept a wide range of opinions and form my own opinion about that. So I am big about what are other people saying. These are people that I trust because they sound like they make sense. They sound like it's based on data or sentiment or something that gives them an edge in the market. And I kind of like try to synthesize that into my own perspective. So definitely I'm not the best trader by any means. Definitely I'm not I don't do TA, technical analysis. I mean, I don't do it on my own. But from what I've read and what I've synthesized, the rough peak should be around October 2025. Where the price will be, I've seen layo ng mga estimates. Like I've seen 125K for Bitcoin. I've seen 185K for Bitcoin. That said, I am cautiously optimistic that 100, 125, just gut feel, seems too low for me for this cycle. I feel that there's a lot of pent-up desire for Bitcoin because there are new players in the market that weren't around 4 years ago. So we have this guy called Michael Saylor. Basically, his company buys up Bitcoin. That's all it does. It buys up Bitcoin. And it borrows money to buy a Bitcoin. So parang naging beta trade na siya. Parang they're like people who like, I want exposure to Bitcoin, but I don't really want to own Bitcoin itself. I can buy into an ETF or I can buy into MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company. So there are governments like El Salvador and Bhutan that actually use Bitcoin already as a currency reserve. So there are all of these kind of like big players in the market starting to realize that this crazy thing has value. And so that increases the demand for it. And that's what you want kind of like in this parabolic end of 4-year cycle bull run kind of thing. You want exchanges running out of Bitcoin because people are just buying them up. And that's what will really shoot up the price some more. Microsoft that makes Windows and a bunch of other things. What else does Microsoft make? Xbox, of course, and Word and things like that. There is a proposal which will be voted on, I think, in December, so next month, that Microsoft start buying up Bitcoin as a reserve currency also. The proposal isn't expected to pass, but one other thing that is favorable to the general adoption of Bitcoin is that the rules regarding accounting. So again, this is very technical, but this is the kind of thing you look at. Like if you are considering investing in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin being the premier Bitcoin currency, being the premier cryptocurrency, starting next year, I think it'll be implemented December, and then I think starting 2025, ma-implement na siya. Right now kasi, if you're a company and you own Bitcoin, you can only report it at the value that you bought it at. So just for para malinaw, if I'm MicroStrategy, that company nga that buys Bitcoin, and that's the only thing I do. That's my purpose on the market is to buy Bitcoin. Let's say I bought Bitcoin at 50,000. Now it's at around 90,000. Para lang simple. That's a ridiculous gain, right? You have made almost 100% gain in the span of a couple of months, actually. Bitcoin was around 52, 53, very short time ago, 2-3 months ago. But based on accounting rules, I can't report that I made an income on that or that my asset has appreciated. Based on current accounting rules, I can only report it at the value that I bought it at. So yung Bitcoin ko na nabili ko at 50,000 na ngayon 90,000 na. And imagine if that were real estate. I bought a plot of land for $50,000. Now it's 90,000. Sobrang laking appreciation nun. The value of the company has increased because the assets that it holds has increased. But based on current accounting rules, I can't do that. I need to report my Bitcoin at the value that it was bought at. Starting next year, hindi na ganun. You can report it at its fair market value, just like real estate, just like any other asset. So 50,000, I bought it at 50,000. Now it's at 90,000. I can now report it at 90,000. I can now show that my company has become more valuable because the assets that I hold, cryptocurrency, have appreciated. They have gone up in value. So that's, again, it's a very technical thing. But now companies are more incentivized to hold cryptocurrency. Now there will be more demand to hold the crypto, in particular Bitcoin, because it is the premier cryptocurrency. So just to go back to why I'm spouting all these jargon and like these kind of nitty-gritty things, I mentioned that I feel that 100, 125 for this cycle is too low. I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll go higher for the peak of this cycle. And my reasoning is because of all of those things, that we're starting to see this kind of like mainstream adoption of Bitcoin because of various things. Because we have companies buying them like MicroStrategy. We have very mainstream companies like Microsoft considering to hold them. Several governments already hold Bitcoin as part of their reserves. And yung accounting rules it's already been agreed. Yung ano na lang, we're just waiting for the date na may implement siya, that you will report now your cryptocurrency holdings at current fair market value, not at the value that you bought them at, which is the current rule. So ang dami nangyayari, and then you have Trump coming in, and I agree with Hans. Hans and I are, oy, sup Vic, sup Casey Bolios. Sorry, the chat windows. I have 4 monitors in my main setup, but I'm using my laptop to stream. And then I have it hooked up to my wife's monitors. Actually, there are 5 monitors scattered about now. And then the chat window here is here on the left. So hindi ko kita talaga. Sorry, I'm just gonna... I'll go to the chat super quick. So... The guy who I trust is around October. So that's basically the average of what you're saying of 6 to 12 months. So maybe October 2025, thereabouts would be the peak. Again, it can change. But definitely, we're just starting at the most interesting point where you see these crazy increases. And if you're in the proper stage of the parabolic runs, there is risk, but the risk of a pullback is a lot less. As I talked about earlier. The video description, we did have an old video, a more recent, I had a recent video this year. The link is down below where I talk about like the people I follow on crypto Twitter. I agree with Hans, and I'm friends with Hans on Facebook actually. But I think our politics kind of align a lot. Personally, I would not have, if I were an American, I wouldn't have voted for Trump. The crypto thing, it would have gone up. I'm very confident saying that it would have gone up regardless. Even if Harris had won, so I wasn't too concerned about that. But now that Trump has won, the election was really the catalyst for this crazy start of the run that we're in. I don't like Trump's policies in general. As an individual, I think he's kind of deplorable. And that's how Hillary Clinton described his supporters when she ran against him in 2016. But for the industries that I favor, well, he is pro-crypto. His vice president, J.D. Vance, is also pro-crypto. So, if I don't like him and I don't like his presidency, I might as well try to make money on it. Revenge trading na lang. At least I'll try to get something good out of the guy. But yeah. Solana actually hasn't pumped yet. So we've seen the wild Ripple pump, the wild ADA pump, the wild Doge pump. Solana hasn't ripped yet. It's at around 240 now. I've seen some estimates saying that by end of year, you're going to see it at around 400, 440. So yes, now roughly would be a good time to get into Solana. I do have some Solana bought earlier, 170, 130, maliit lang, small holdings, but I do have them. I don't have a futures na long, to be honest, at the moment in Solana. I might be tempted if we see a pullback to around 210 or so. Like, it's at 240 now, a pullback to 210, nothing to get alarmed about. I don't think we'll see 200, maybe 210. I would pull the trigger on a 210 one. Actually, we're at, sorry, let me just jump real quick back to the charts. As I say that, we're not expecting a wild pullback. Now we're seeing that. Look at that, man. Look, this is why I love crypto. It's such a, I know, no, it stabilized. So like you see this kind of drop here. Like before, this would be like, way, like bagsak talaga yan. But man, I want a long ETH na here actually. Right after this stream, I'm gonna long ETH. Yeah, if Bitcoin slips below 90, again, nothing to be too worried about. US trading day hasn't started yet. US Monday trading day hasn't started yet. I noticed the Doge going down. SHIB going down. So yun nga, parang that's the wild thing about crypto. It's like insane price, like roller coaster. But this is nothing. This is like just a sneeze. If you've seen it in other times and other prices, when the market is super shaky, sobrang babagsak yan. This is, and even this one, it can't even decide. Like, am I gonna go down? I'm gonna go up? Parang ano. But I do want the long ETH here. Like 3070, 3080, 3060 is. I'd be interested in Ethereum at this range. Short-term time frame for Ethereum, again, based on people I trust, around 3,450, 3,500, and then onwards to 4,000. Low time frame estimates. Asian markets don't really propel crypto, at least in my personal observation. So if it's Philippine trading day, it will just mimic what the US market. If the US market ended up on a high, it might end up on a high, it might slightly go down, but it's not a catalyst for anything. So this one, like babagsak siya, and then Asian trading day, when the US markets open, like US New York time, 9:30, 10:30 our time, that's when the